When the James Webb Space Telescope turned its gaze toward Mars earlier this month, no one expected to witness what came next. For days, the telescope had been monitoring 3I Atlas, the mysterious interstellar object crossing our solar system, a visitor from deep space that had already defied every known law of physics. But during its closest approach to the red planet, something struck it. At first, NASA thought it was a glitch, a cosmic ray or an imaging artifact. Yet as the data kept coming in, it became clear this was no error. The James Webb had captured a direct impact, something unknown colliding with 3I Atlas, releasing an energy burst so intense that its afterglow was visible for hours. What hit it? Where did it come from? And why immediately after the collision did the object's behavior begin to change in ways that scientists still can't explain? The first images arrived in fragments, frames captured by Webb's near-infrared camera over a period of 3 minutes. In them, 3I Atlas appeared perfectly stable, its faint emerald glow pulsing rhythmically as it drifted just beyond Mars's orbital path. Then, without warning, a blinding flash erupted from its lower hemisphere, a sharp spike of light lasting less than a second, yet bright enough to saturate Webb's detectors. The light had no natural source. It wasn't reflected sunlight, nor the typical outgassing of a comet. Instead, spectroscopic readings showed a sudden surge in gamma radiation, a burst powerful enough to ionize nearby gas and produce a spherical shockwave expanding rapidly outward. Within seconds, the green hue surrounding 3I Atlas began to distort, twisting into spirals before flickering out completely. And then, just as abruptly as it appeared, the light vanished, leaving behind a dim metallic shadow where the object had been. Scientists initially suspected a small asteroid collision, but the energy signature didn't match. The flash wasn't kinetic. It was electromagnetic, the kind produced when massive magnetic fields collide. Whatever hit 3I Atlas didn't strike it physically, it struck it energetically. Hours after the impact, analysts studying the raw Webb data noticed something strange hidden in the frames before the explosion. A faint streak of infrared light approaching 3I Atlas from above the Martian atmosphere. The trajectory didn't match any known asteroid or debris orbiting Mars. It came in fast, decelerating just before contact, as if under intelligent control. When magnified, the streak revealed a cluster of smaller points moving in formation. Not random fragments, but a pattern. Some suggested it was a natural meteor swarm. Others, however, noticed that the points moved in perfect geometric spacing, a triangular array maintaining equal distance as it descended. The moment before the flash, the array contracted into a single point of light, aligned directly with 3I Atlas's central core. Then came the detonation. Afterward, the formation was gone. Webb's spectrometers detected traces of ionized nickel and cobalt drifting outward, elements already known to exist in 3I Atlas's strange composition. Yet their ratios were now inverted, as if the collision had rearranged the object's internal structure. Whatever hit it didn't destroy it, it altered it. Following the impact, a deep silence filled the data streams. For several hours, 3I Atlas emitted no detectable light, no radiation, no movement. It was as though the object had gone completely dormant. Then, 21 hours later, the James Webb detected a faint hum, a repeating pulse identical in frequency to the signal that had previously been linked to 3I Atlas's electromagnetic activity. But this time the pulse had changed. Instead of a simple rhythmic beat, it now carried modulation, subtle variations in intensity and timing that, when converted into audio frequencies, resembled a coded transmission. The pulse wasn't random. It was repeating in sequences of prime numbers, 3, 5, 7, 11, mathematical structures too deliberate to be natural. Even more unsettling was where the signal was being detected from, not from 3I Atlas itself, but from its immediate surroundings, as if the space around it had become an extension of the object, vibrating with the same resonance. NASA refused to comment, but leaked internal memos described the event as an electromagnetic reconfiguration of unknown intent. The implication was staggering. The impact hadn't stopped 3I Atlas, it had activated it. Within days of the collision, Mars began to react. Orbiters from both NASA and ESA started reporting irregular magnetic readings across the planet's upper atmosphere. The anomalies grew strongest each time 3I Atlas passed overhead, creating ripples in the magnetosphere that expanded outward like waves across a pond. Even the thin Martian ionosphere began to glow faintly green again, the same hue seen before the impact. But there was something new this time. Faint geometric patterns appearing within the glow, hexagonal and perfectly symmetrical, rotating slowly across the night sky. When the James Webb focused on these formations, it detected that they weren't static lights. They were projections, energy reflections synchronized with the pulse still emanating from 3I Atlas. The entire planet seemed to be responding to the object's frequency. Then, for the first time, Webb's infrared array recorded a secondary object, a small, faintly reflective body orbiting dangerously close to 3I Atlas. It hadn't been there before. Its shape was irregular, but one side glowed brighter than the rest, almost as if it were facing the interstellar visitor directly. Scientists called it a fragment, others called it a probe. Whatever it was, it had come alive after the impact, and it was moving. After the collision, NASA expected any remaining debris to disperse naturally, carried by solar wind and gravitational turbulence. But the newly detected fragment didn't drift. It remained in perfect orbital sync with 3I Atlas, locked at a fixed distance of just over 500 kilometers, mirroring every move the object made as though tethered by an invisible force. Spectroscopic readings showed the fragment's surface was coated in metallic compounds, identical to those of 3I Atlas. But with one crucial difference, it was radiating heat. Unlike the cold, dormant shell of the main object, the fragment emitted a steady infrared signature that pulsed faintly every 21 seconds, matching the rhythm of the larger body. The James Webb Telescope's sensors revealed that the fragment's pulse wasn't random. Each emission aligned perfectly with the magnetic fluctuations detected over Mars. Whatever energy 3I Atlas had absorbed during the impact was now flowing into the fragment as if the collision had divided it into two interconnected halves. To some researchers, it looked like damage recovery. To others, replication. Either way, the system was stabilizing, reorganizing itself, and no one could explain how, days later, a bizarre phenomenon began spreading across Mars. The orbiters monitoring the planet detected waves of electromagnetic interference sweeping through the upper atmosphere in synchronized bursts. These bursts weren't originating from 3I Atlas directly. They were coming from Mars itself, echoing the object's energy pattern like a planetary mirror. Ground-based instruments on Earth confirmed that the signal bouncing off Mars had shifted frequency, becoming stronger and more structured, as though the planet was reflecting a modified version of the transmission. But Mars doesn't have the atmosphere or technology to amplify radio frequencies. Yet here it was broadcasting, not randomly but rhythmically, in the same 21-second intervals. When the waveform was isolated, it revealed a pattern of harmonic resonance consistent with artificial encoding. The possibility was chilling. The collision near Mars hadn't just changed 3I Atlas, it had awakened the planet itself into some form of electromagnetic response.